Hey, what's up, guys? Mike Patrick, and in this video, I want to talk about the Brian Flores situation, okay? Now, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Brian Flores, okay? Um, One way or another, he's going to be rewarded greatly for his courage and his contribution to change, okay, guys? And to piggyback off of that, I hear people say, I've been hearing a few people say, well, has he ruined his career? Has he ruined his career? And trying to make it a thing where, like, he's some lowly guy who now that he has spoken up and said something or did something as courageous as he has done, to trailblaze certain things, that now he should be worried about, can he get a job now, okay, in his career. Now I want to shed some light on that in particular. Look, guys, this was a man who was in the NFL for several years, more than several years, okay, enough years. I think he's been bouncing around in the league for a little while now, at least a decade at least, but don't quote me on that, okay? And people get paid pretty good money in the NFL regardless of what you're doing in most jobs, if it has anything to do with coaches. Okay, guys, these people are not living paycheck to paycheck, okay? And then this man also has been a head coach for 2 years, okay? And I'm sure he was making in the millions, okay? And so people shouldn't worry about, or be trying to target or zero in on the fact that he may not be coaching in the NFL anymore, okay? I'm sure this man will be fine financially, okay? He'll be better off than most people, okay, regardless, whether he coaches in the NFL again or not. Not to mention, just because he's not coaching in the NFL anymore, if he doesn't, it doesn't mean that he's going to not get a job anymore, okay? He could still possibly coach at the college ranks, which they make great money, millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars. He could coach at the high school level, okay? There's other things that he could do, okay, guys? So whether he gets blackballed or not from the NFL, that's neither here nor there. It's not like this man is going to starve or his family is going to starve because of that, okay? But it also leads to other good points about how, well, for one, if he's made millions of dollars in the NFL thus far, okay, this is a good opportunity to talk about things that we do with our money, okay? Now, it's for no one to tell the next person what to do with your money, but you can make suggestions, right? Or you can just, bring awareness to certain things, because that's how you begin to change, right? You have to bring awareness to certain things, and no real change can happen with anybody on any level until there's recognition, right? You have to acknowledge what needs to change, okay? And that's why it's so important, why all aspects are needed in change, okay? You have to have somebody that's identifying the problems. You have to have people physically working on the problems, okay, and things like that. But none of it can happen if it's not acknowledged, right? So acknowledgement is the most important thing first, okay? And with that said, acknowledging this, while it has been acknowledged here and there, okay, this is a good time to tie it in with this situation, okay? If you're worried about his money, his career, and him possibly not coaching in the NFL again, I would say this. The reason why a lot of athletes do go broke is not because they didn't make enough money, obviously, right? It's the way you spend money, okay? A lot of us have the habit of the more money we make, the more money goes out. That's why you can't look at how much money somebody makes. It's about how their lifestyle and how much money they can keep and save, right? So you ask yourself, how does somebody who makes millions of dollars at any point, right? Not even over the course of a career, but a guy who might stay in the league for 2 or 3 years, but you made, because I know in the NFL your money's not guaranteed, But let's just say you played out at least one contract and you made millions of dollars. Well, there's really no reason for you to go broke anymore unless you are living a lifestyle that is not conducive to you keeping money, okay? And so what happens is if you make $5 million, well, you want to look like you made $5 million, right? So you go out and you spend money at alarming rates, okay, and at fast rates. And then you're not saving much, okay? And for whatever reason, I don't want to get into all the different reasons why you might be spending money at alarming rates, but that's what's happening, right? And then you look up and the money's not coming in as fast as it used to, or as easy as it used to, and then you're still trying to maintain a certain lifestyle, then you end up going broke, okay? Well, if you can live more humbly, right, with all that money, even if you make $20 million, right, not trying to look like you made $20 million and trying to show everybody else, look, I'm rich, by the symbols of, it could be anything. It could be cars, jewelry. It could be just lifestyle when you go places, spending money, you know what I mean, splurging and things like that. Because, yeah, you want people, especially people who put a lot of their self-worth into that. And when you have been beaten down so much, or you have been, you could say broke, or you're not used to having a lot, well, that may be a way that you react to having money. But let's just say you make $20 million and you live like you live on a budget like you're only making $1 million a year. Well, you should be able to live off that money for the rest of your life and live well and live comfortably, even if you didn't get another dime, right? But if you're buying mansions, multiple mansions, and you spend the money here and there like this and like that, then you may go broke, okay? So that's one thing to acknowledge in all of this as well. But he doesn't seem like the type of guy, right, that's going out to clubs, blowing money, that's taking a bunch of trips and doing this and doing that and buying a unnecessary number of cars and things like that, right? So I'm sure this man has done okay with his money, okay? And I'm sure there'll be other opportunities. So that's one thing. Two, another thing that's very important is what you can't get caught up on or let fly by is the fact that we're not acknowledging too, when you make a certain amount of money, when you have people that have a certain amount of money, at some point perhaps you can do things for yourself. So therefore things like this won't be a problem, because you are in a position where you can affect change by will. But you know what I mean? So what I mean to say in saying that is, you can't always expect for somebody to accommodate you when something is theirs. You know what I mean? Whether you like the rules of something or not, sometimes if something is somebody else's, well, while you can, because in trying to be inclusive, that's why I say these things are necessary, because in trying to work together and trying to be inclusive and still maintain relationships and not necessarily be separate or anything like that, you just you got to acknowledge these things and hope that there can be positive change and fairness and equality, right? But then in some regards, as a people, African Americans, so-called black people, have had plenty of money and opportunity to kind of do their own thing. Now, this rabbit hole gets deep, so I'm not going to get too far into it, but let's just, on a surface level, let's just say we made enough money. They say that so-called African Americans are like the biggest consumers, okay? So that means we have a lot of money, okay? Now, what we're doing with the money, are we just consuming or are we building? You know what I mean? Now, a lot of us don't have the opportunity to do certain things. We don't have the finances to do certain things. But there are a lot of us that if we came together, we have enough millionaires and some billionaires and things like that, that if people really wanted to, you know what I mean, all this could be addressed. Or at least you can play the card and expose hands by saying, okay, well look, let's put our money together, and then we don't have to worry about this. We can start our own league, and we can hire who we want to hire. You know what I mean? And things like that, and run things how we want to run things. Okay, so you can't always go to somebody else's table expecting a certain seat at their table. Okay, and so that's just something to shed light on. And it wouldn't surprise me if within the next few weeks or something you hear about a group of prominent African Americans with a lot of money starting to seriously consider doing things like this now, strongly, okay? And strongly considering doing something like that, getting your own lead and things like that, and putting your money into stuff like that, okay, guys? And then therefore, like I said, none of this would necessarily be necessary, okay? But it does kind of give that underlying tone of, well, you know, I'm coming to you to get a better position in your establishment in the first place. Because you're still going to have to acquiesce to other people in those